Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this mini turtle design, which was designed by me. So this is technically a variation of my big turtle design, but because it's my design, I can make tutorials for it in however many different sizes I want. And I made these baby turtles this past week, and I thought they were adorable, and they're super quick to make, and they're just so tiny. Like, look at them. I feel like you can't really tell how small they are until, like, I put them next to something else, because, I mean, if you see them to my hand size, you can tell that they're kind of little. But then when I hold them like next to my regular size turtle design, you can really see how small they are. Like this guy looks huge now, and when I made this turtle design I thought he was pretty small, but then I put him next to this baby guy and he just looks huge. So he's really little. I don't think he takes that many bands. If I had to guess, it's probably around 50 to 70 bands. If you want to see the official band count, you can check down in the description below. But I haven't done the band count yet, so that's just kind of my guesstimation. Keep in mind, it may be wrong. So, yeah, if you want the official band count, definitely check down in the description. But yeah, I made these baby turtles, and I thought it'd be fun to make a tutorial for them. I've always liked designs that are super easy and quick to make. This is definitely one of them. They're just so little. They obviously don't take much time. Now, just because they're quick, I don't know if it necessarily means they're easy. I know a lot of beginners have issues with very small designs, and I have to warn you, this design is very, very tiny. So if you struggle with tiny designs, maybe this isn't the best for you, but I'm going to try my best to go slow and explain and do the whole thing. I don't think it's too hard, but it is just tiny, so if you know you struggle with smaller things, this might be hard, but otherwise it should be fine. So I think that's all I wanted to say on these guys. They're just adorable and small, and I love them. I love this design. I really want to make a whole little like mini army of rainbow turtles because I recently got these dots bands. I've never had them before, and I think it would just be cool to make like a rainbow little turtle with dots bands shells. So I might do that. That's just like a side note, but yeah, so we're gonna get it started. Of course you're gonna want to get whatever bands you want for your turtle. Today I'm gonna be using some yellow dots bands for the shell, and then for the main body of the turtle I'm gonna be using this pink from the Sparkle treasure box. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So as always, the pattern is in the description box below. Also, I forgot to say, I always forget this part, but you're going to need a hook of some kind. I'm going to be using my double-ended hook today, but you can use whatever hook you have. Rainbowloom hook, crochet hook, just whatever you got. And of course you're going to need a C-clip to mark your rows with. You could also use an S-clip. You really just need something to mark where you like start and end. So now that's it. That is not it. You also need stuffing and eyes if you want them. I always forget to say them, but yeah, you want either beads for eyes. You can also use bands. I'm going to be using these beads today, and if anyone's going to probably ask, because everyone always asks, they're 4mm round beads. That's all they are. So yeah. Now we're ready to start. So we're going to get started. We get started on the shell, and then we made the shell, and then we kind of attached everything. It's very similar to my big turtle design if you've made him. It's just he's smaller. So yeah. And I'll be picking up bands, and then we will get started. I honestly don't know if that intro was a mess, but I'm just gonna leave it and just keep filming. I don't know. Sometimes they're just messy, but it's okay. So we are going to start by doing a triple cap band with 4 stitches in it. So I'll show you how to do that if you don't know. But basically we're going to start by wrapping a band 3 times around our hook. We also have a fuzzy of some kind. I don't know where that fuzzy came from. But we're going to start by wrapping a band 3 times around our hook. So this is 1. That's 2. And then we do it one more time, so it's 3. And then we're going to pull a band through everything on our hook. Put both ends back on our hook. Push the back one over the front one. And then we're going to go back through our, I was about to say our C-clip, our cap band. And we're going to pull a band through just the cap band. We're going to put both ends back on our hook. We're going to push the back one over the front one. And then we're going to push the loop from last time over as well. And we're going to repeat that thing we just did 2 more times. So we have 4 stitches in the cap band in total. So we're going to go back through the cap band. We're going to pull a band through just the cap band. Put both ends back on our hook. Push the back one over the front one. And then push the loop from last time over as well. And then we're going to go in one more time. Do the same thing. So we pull it through. Back one over the front one. Loop from last time. And now we should have 4 loops on our cap band. So if you count, you should have 4, so you should have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And once you've made sure you have 4 loops, instead of going into the cap band, you're going to go in through this first loop here. And then you're just going to do the same thing. So you're just going to pull the band through, both ends back on hook, back one over the front one, and then the loop from last time over as well. And this is the one we'll be putting our C-clip on. So I'm just going to apologize in advance if my fingers seem to be in the way a lot with this design. It's kind of hard to keep them out of the way, especially when the design is so small. Just a quick note, because I know people always are like, your fingers are in the way, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just so tiny. But yeah, that's just kind of gonna happen. I'm gonna do my best to show you guys what I'm doing, but if they get in the way, I'm sorry. Anyways, now for the next row, we need to increase everything, and what that basically means is that every single stitch we do is going to be an increase. So all an increase is you're basically putting 2 stitches per loop, and this first loop already has 1 stitch in it, so we're gonna go back in and do another stitch. And then that'll be an increase. So I'll show you again. So we're going to go into the next loop. We're going to make 1 stitch. Then we're going to go back in and do another stitch. And then that will be our increase. So like I said, all an increase is you're putting 2 stitches per loop. And we're doing this all the way until we get to the C-clip. And at the end of this row, you should be at 8 loops. That. Then once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it, and then you're going to move it up. So you'll take it off that band and move it up onto the band that is on your hook. And now if you count around, you should be at 8 loops, so we'll start by counting the one on our hooks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Like that. So now we're going to do 2 rows of single stitches, so just 2 rows normal. We're not increasing, we're not doing anything, we're just doing single stitches all the way around. And at the end of this row, we should still have 8 loops, so we should be at the exact same number. And I'm going to stay on to do all these rows because this turtle is really tiny and he does come together pretty quickly, so yeah. So we're just going to do 2 rows of single stitches all the way around. And all a single stitch is you're just doing 1 stitch per loop. And that's pretty much it. And we just do this all the way around until we get to the C-clip. And we do 2 rows of this. So we're just doing single stitches. And then once you get to your C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one that has a C-clip on it. And move it up. So that was our first row of single stitches. Like I said, we have to do 2, so I'm going to go around and do 1 more. You can count right now if you want to make sure you didn't accidentally increase, but I'm pretty sure I didn't increase, so I'm just going to keep going. And we're just, once again, single stitches all the way around, just doing 1 stitch per loop. You know, it's always a pain with tiny designs is I always feel like I'm going so fast, but I'm kind of not going fast. I'm going about normal speed. It's just there aren't as many loops to, like, I don't know, like, just there's just not as many loops. So it feels like I'm going really fast even though I'm not going that fast. I don't know. I don't know why I picked up so many yellow bands. Literally after this row we stopped using them for a bit, so I don't know why I have so many on my finger. But once we get to the C-clip, we're going to flip to our second color for our turtle. So for me, that is this pink color, but it's the blue color on this guy. So whatever your color you want for the bottom of your turtle, we're going to switch to that color right now. And we are done with the yellow for a bit. And now I'm picking up the proper color, because I don't know why I picked up so much yellow. Sorry, I hit my camera stand. But basically, we're going to go into the next loop, which should be the one with the C-clip on it. And we're just going to pull this band through everything on our hook, and then push the back one over the front one. So that's a slip stitch, and we only do it when we flip colors. That's the only time we have to do it for this design. And we're just going to move our C-clip up. And that was also 2 rows of just normal single stitches. And it should be looking something like this. And if you count around, like I said, you should still be at 8 loops, so let's count. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Like that. So we do still have to do 1 more row of single stitches, just in the pink color now. But yeah, we're pretty much doing the same thing. We're just doing a row of single stitches around, but we're just now doing it in pink. Or I guess whatever the bottom color is for you. You know what's so weird? I don't know if you guys can hear, like, I feel like my voice sounds a little bit weird, but I have been struggling with allergies since I came back home from college, which is weird because when I was over there, I must have not been as allergic to whatever's over there because I didn't really have issues with my allergies, but I've come back, and ever since I've been back home, I've been struggling a bit, but I'm okay. It's just, like, annoying. And it's not as bad as last year either. If any of you guys remember any of my Loom tutorials from around this time last year, I was actually dying from, like, allergies. Just, like, seasonal allergies. Like, nothing serious, but, like... Yeah, my family just has such bad seasonal allergies. Like, I know it's allergies because we'll all start dying at the same time. Anyways, I'm just gonna move my C-clip up, and I finished 1 row normal in pink. And like I said, we're gonna count around to make sure we still have 8, because we should still have 8 loops, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. And now we're gonna stuff this, so like I said, you're gonna need some stuffing. I usually use cotton balls, you can use polyfill or whatever, napkins, just something to stuff him. I like cotton balls best for this, especially for tiny designs like this. I just feel like it works better. But you can take your hook out. As long as you don't pull on it too much, you shouldn't have any issues of it coming off. And we're just gonna stuff him. I think with this design too, you want to make sure he's full. Like, you don't want to understuff him, but don't overstuff him either. You have to, like, put the perfect amount of stuffing in. Am I out of cotton balls on my desk? I usually always have a secret stash of cotton balls on my desk. Where am I out? I am out of cotton balls. Okay, hold up. I need to go grab some cotton balls. I thought I had more. That's so weird. I always have cotton balls on my desk. And this is like the first time I have not had cotton balls. Just because I'm always looming at my desk. So like I always just have extra stuffing thrown around. But I didn't even have enough stuffing for this little guy. Like, how did I not have stuffing? And I didn't even need that much. I just needed like a tiny bit to finish stuffing him. I just don't want to understuff this guy, so... Gonna make sure he's full. Okay. But once you finish stuffing him, you're just gonna stick your hook back in. And don't accidentally remove your C-clip like I just did. But we're just gonna stick our hook back in. And now we're just gonna decrease everything until it's closed. So basically every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease. And the way you decrease is you're gonna grab the inside part of one loop. Okay, there we go. And then the back part of the next loop. And then you're just going to make a stitch. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way around until we can't decrease anymore. And at this point we can take the C-clip out actually. But basically every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease until we literally can't do it anymore. But I'll show you what a decrease is once again. But basically you're going to grab the inside part of one loop, the back part of the next loop, just make a stitch. And we just keep doing this. I actually think this next one's gonna be my last decrease. Yeah. So once you have the last decrease you can possibly do up on your hook. I was about to say back on your hook. No, up on your hook. We're just gonna pull a band through everything on our hook. Put both ends back on our hook and then push the back one over the front one and pull tight. And then we'll just hide this tail into our turtle body, I guess. We're just gonna pull it in like that, and then you're just gonna hide it. It is really hard to hide tails on this guy because of how small he is, but it's not super bad. I am hiding the tail and off camera just because I hate weaving tails in on camera. It's so hard, like, I don't know. Anyways, now you should have something that looks kind of like this. And we're going to make the heads, arms, and legs and all that next, but first we're going to finish off the shell. So you're going to want to get a few more of your shell color. Yeah. I don't know where, I just like, my brain completely blanked for a moment, but yeah, you're gonna want to get some of your shell color. And we're gonna make this little rim that is on the shell, and it's pretty simple. So I like to find where the back of my turtle is and start there. Usually, no matter what, you'll end up with this weird spot that you can just tell kind of is the back, and I can tell that this is the back for me. So I'm gonna go right here, right? Yeah, right here. As you can see, there's like these two horizontal bands, and then I'm gonna go in between that, and I'm gonna make a stitch. And we're basically gonna go in the same spot all the way around. So you see these two horizontal bands here, we go in between them, and we make a stitch. And we keep doing this all the way around in the circle until we reach where we started. We just keep going around. I don't know why the lighting's being a bit weird. I even have my light and everything today. I think it's just because he's so tiny. Like, even my camera's struggling. It's just like, it's too small. Actually, oh, I do have it on the right camera setting. I was like, did I change the settings? No, it's fine. Okay, but once you get back to the start, and I can tell this is the start because there's my first loop there, instead of going into the turtle, we'll just go into this first loop, make a stitch, and we're going to put a C-clip on this one. And now we're just going to do a row around of single stitches on all the loops we made. That's pretty much it. So we're just going to do a row around of single stitches on all the loops around the shell we just made. And I'm just picking up more bands again. I really should not pick up that many bands because after this we are done with the shell color pretty much. Okay. And then once you get back to the C-clip, you're just going to go through that band that has a C-clip on it. You're going to take a band, you're going to pull it through everything on your hook. You're going to put both ends back on your hook, and then you just push the back one over the front one, and you'll pull it tight. And then we'll just take the C-clip out, and then the rim for our shell is done. If it's facing down like mine is right now, just squish it up, and it'll look correct. Like that. So now we're going to tuck this tail in, and basically, to tuck tails in, all you're doing is just pulling it into the creation so no one can see it. And you kind of just weave it around until you can't see it anymore. For bigger designs, usually you only have to like pull it in once and then you can't see it, but because this guy's so small, sometimes you have to tug on it a few times. So yeah, so there's our shell. Now we need to make all of his feet, his tail, and his head, and attach him to the body. So we're going to set this aside for a second, and I'll show you how to make the feet first, and we'll do the head last, because I think the head's the most complicated. It's not that complicated, it just has more steps than the legs, I guess. So, yeah. You know, it's so weird. This is just like a random thought while I pick up a few bands, but I think I was calculating how long I've been looming today, and I think this coming summer is going to be 10 years of me looming, which is absolutely insane. I'm going to have to count to make sure, but if it is, like, I'm going to have to do something extra special this year, because I can't believe I've been looming that long. I don't know, that was just like a random thought that I had this morning, because my sister was like, you've been looming for that long, and I'm like, no I haven't, and she was like, yeah you have. So, I don't know, just weird, just a thing, I guess. Anyways, to make the legs, we're gonna get 2 bands, and we're gonna wrap them around our hook 4 times, so we're just gonna go 1, 2, 3, actually that's 4 times. So we're gonna wrap it around 4 times, but I actually have it wrong. We wrap the legs around 5 times, I believe. Yeah, we wrap it 5 times. So this is 4 times. We're gonna do 1 more, so it's 5. And I'll show you how to do the leg again in case you're confused. But basically, you're gonna wrap a band 5 times around your hook, well, 2 bands, and then you're just gonna slide it on to just to a single band. And I'll show you that again, because I know I kind of messed up, so I'll show you that again. But you're just going to take 2 bands and you're going to wrap them 5 times around your hook. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you're going to take another band and you're just going to slide this onto it. Oop, I lost it. And it is kind of harder to slide a band that is wrapped around 5 times onto another band, but I just think it looks nicer. But if you're really struggling to slide it on, you can do a band wrapped 4 times. It looks almost the same. I just like when they're wrapped 5 times because to me it looks a little bit tighter and just nicer. So you're going to want to make 4 of those total. I did 2, so you're just going to want to repeat that. How many more times? 2 more times until you have enough for all the legs. And I'm just making all the legs real quick because this takes a second. So we have 3, and we're going to need 4. And there we go. So 4 legs. And then we're going to need to make his tail, and his tail is super easy. You're just going to take 1 band and wrap it around 4 times on your hook. Ah, so blurry. But you're just going to take a band, you wrap it around 4 times around your hook, take another band, and you just slide this band onto that band. And that's pretty much it. So now we have our legs, our tail, and all of that. So we have the legs, the tail, and the very last thing we need to make is the head. So I'm going to show you how to make the head. It's pretty simple, but it does require more steps than the legs, because obviously the legs were just like wrapping bands, which is easy. But for the head, we're going to do a tripled cap band with 4 stitches in it, so the exact same way we started the shell. I can't speak today. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know. I feel like I messed up speaking a lot in this tutorial, so sorry about that. Some days, man, I'm just a little everywhere. But we're going to wrap a band 3 times around our hook, so it's 1, 2, 3. And then just like the shell, we're going to be putting 4 stitches into this cap band, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull a band through just the cap band, put both bands back on our hook, and then push the back one over the front one. And then you're going to go back through the cap band, pull the band through just the cap band, put both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over as well. And then we just repeat that 2 more times, so we have 4 loops in our cap band. Okay, so once we have 4 loops, we're just going to want to count to make sure. So we start by counting the one on our hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to go through this first loop here, and we're just going to make a stitch, and then we're going to put our C-clip on this one. And now we're just going to do a row of single stitches around this. So we're just going to do 1 stitch per loop until we get to the C-clip. And I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing, but this head is just so tiny, it's kind of hard to show you. And then once you get to the C-clip, you're going to go through the loop that has a C-clip on it. And then you're just going to take a band, you're going to pull it through everything on your hook, and we're going to use this band to tie into our turtle to tie the head on. So we can take the C-clip out, and we're kind of just going to want to hold this, and we're going to get our shell. I don't know why there's these pink fuzzies everywhere, but I keep taking fuzzies off my bands. But we're going to take this band, and we're going to pick whatever we want to be the front of our turtle, and I usually go opposite of whatever I think the back is, or kind of wherever I tied off the shell brim, and I'm looking for it right now, and I kind of can't find it. Where did I tie off the shell brim? I think I tied it off right there. Did I? Yeah, so I tied off the shell brim right here, so I'm going to go opposite of that, and this is going to be the front of my turtle. And I'm just going to use this band to tie the head of our turtle onto the body. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come opposite. So you can kind of see the 4 loops. There's 1 here, and then it's 2, 3, 4. On this one across from it, you're going to go through it, And then we're gonna go through part of our turtle. Is this the best angle? Hold up, let me flip the angle because I came at it like this. And I should actually kind of be coming down on it, so I'm gonna go this way. And then we're gonna go through part of our turtle. I'm sorry, the lighting's being a little weird right now, but you'll go through part of your turtle as well. Pull a band through everything, and then tie off. And then your head should be attached. I haven't had to attach it more than 2 times. If you attach it at the top and then at the bottom, usually it's fairly stable and I don't have to do anything else. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to hide these tails really quick. I'm going to hide them in off camera, but I kind of usually just tuck them into the bottom part of the turtle because, especially like today, I used a darker color for the bottom than the top. Sometimes you can see the tails through the top of the shell and I don't like that. So I'm just going to pull them into the bottom here, and I know it's a very tiny space, but you can tuck it into the bottom and it's fine. Like, it's not a huge deal. Like that. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna attach all the legs and tails and stuff. So we have our 4 legs and we have a tail. I usually do the tail last. And we're just gonna use the bands that they are on to attach them to our turtle. So where should I put the arm? I usually put the arm right here. And then we're just going to use this band to tie it in. And I don't tuck the tails for the legs in until I like where all the legs are. So there's one. And as you can see, I kind of do like a space. So you can see there's like 3 stitches here. This one has a leg on it. This one doesn't. And I'm going to put the leg right here, the other leg. It's going to go right here. And just make sure you don't accidentally grab the tail and tie it in as a leg, because I actually just almost did that. This is actually the tail. And you can tell which the tail is because it's wrapped like, I don't know, it just doesn't look as thick and as intense, I guess. That. And I kind of do this all the way around. I leave like this 1 stitch space, so here's the leg. I'm going to leave a space. Then the other leg will go here. And once again, I nearly tied in his tail where his leg should be. I keep grabbing the tail on accident. And once again, we have a leg. We go 1 space, and then right here is going to go our final leg. And I don't know why I keep grabbing the tail, but I just nearly grabbed the tail again. We tie it in. And then we're going to tie our tail in right in between his back 2 legs. So right here, we'll just tie the tail in. Okay. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to tuck all these tails in, and I do only tuck these tails in usually just on this bottom portion. So I usually just kind of pull them into this bottom portion, and usually they stay. I don't have any issues. We're going to want to tuck them all in. If you like where your legs are, if you don't like where your legs are, you can, like, obviously untie them and then move them. But I'm fairly happy with where they all are, so I'm just going to tuck all the tails in really quickly, and then I'll show you where I put the eyes. And I don't know if I should talk about something while I tuck these in so we're not dead silent, but I'm actually already almost done. I feel like because I've made so many of these little turtles the past few days, I'm like a professional right now showing you how to make them. Because sometimes when I make tutorials, it's been a few like days or weeks before I get to make the tutorial. But I actually just made these guys the other day, so it's pretty quick. So the very last thing we need is the eyeballs, and what did I do with my beads? Oh, they're right here. So you can get beads, bands, whatever. If you're doing bands, you would just get a band and wrap it 4 or 5 times around your hook. And then you would pull a band through, and that would be your eye. But of course I have beads, so I'm gonna just sorry, my brain. I'm gonna just put them on a band and then use them as eyes, obviously. So I'm just gonna get a string, put a band on it, and take our bead. And put the bead on the string with the band, like that. My camera's not focused. Focus. Here we go. And then we're just gonna fold over and go back through the beads so that way it catches the band. And then we'll just slide our bead onto this band. And we're gonna do that one more time for the other eye. Ooh, I just whacked my camera. Oh my gosh. And like I said, if you don't have beads, you could use bands. You would just wrap it 4 or 5 times around your hook, like a black band, and then just slide that cat band onto a band, and you could just use it as an eye. And also, if anyone's wondering what size eyes I have, I know I said it at the start, but I'll say it again. They're just some 4mm round beads I got from Amazon, so I use these all the time in like all my creations. And that's all they are. They're just round plastic 4mm beads. Okay. So now we're gonna come to the front of our turtle here, and I actually have been tying them in the same spot every time. So on this side of the cap band, between those 2 stitches, I'll just tie an eye. Like that. And then you're gonna want to tuck the tail. And that's pretty much it. I guess the part I was trying to show you was like the spot where I kind of tie them in, because it is on the cap band and it is between the 2 stitches. So as you can see, this is our cap band here, and I usually just go between those 2 stitches and I'll just tie the eye straight onto the cap band, and then I'll just tuck the tail in like that, and then we'll just tuck this tail in, and then our turtle is done. So I hope that wasn't too hard. I know the attaching on the end can seem a little much, especially the first time I designed this guy. I had issues with the attaching, but I don't think it's too bad. And I tried to show you exactly where I put everything, so hopefully your turtle came out okay. Here's how mine looks. Ugh, I absolutely love the colors of this guy. He's kind of reminding me of like strawberry lemonade, but yeah. So I hope your turtles turned out okay. If you make one of these turtles, definitely share them with me. I would love to see how yours come out. Do I have anything else to say? Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I have some more stuff coming. One of the very exciting things I've made recently is this Yeti. That's all you're going to get to see. He's not completely done yet, and I haven't even posted him on Instagram, but I am very excited, and I've loved his design already, so I'm probably going to be making a tutorial for him soon. So subscribe if you want to see that. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up with me. I'm going back to school in about a week, so if I disappeared and you're like, huh, I wonder where Ginger is, you should definitely check out my Instagram, because I'm hoping to be posting on there. But yeah, I think that's it for this tutorial. Like I said, don't forget to show me these turtles if you make them. And yeah, I think that is it. So I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.